What is going on, guys? Christian from the LayandPray MMA podcast, as always, with Trenton and Jeffrey. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Happy Father's Day to you guys. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there as well. If you're listening to us now on YouTube, thank you so much for the support. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and make sure you check us out on our podcasts on all the different platforms that you can find us on. That's Anchor, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, and Radio Public. So make sure to go check those out. If you're listening to us on a podcast platform, make sure to go check us out on our YouTube channel, which is the same name, LayandPray MMA Podcast. We're just going to go through and recap the most recent fight card, which was UFC Fight Night, Ige versus Korean Zombie. Pretty solid fights overall. We watched them together, or we were watching and just bullshitting with each other through Xbox chat. But I was thoroughly impressed with the card as a whole. And even though I didn't watch all the fights, I watched, probably like the second half of the prelims and then the main card. But I know you guys got to watch most of the fights. What was your guys' overall thoughts on the card as a whole?
My thoughts on it were I actually enjoyed the card more than I thought I was going to. About halfway through towards the end of the prelims, I was thinking that I wasn't like super impressed with it, but then the Korean Zombie fight, and I don't know, something about that guy's fighting and everything just gets me excited, like it brings the hype levels up for me.
For sure.
Just mostly because I'm a huge fan, but
yeah.
And there was a couple finishes on the fight card and stuff that were pretty impressive as well. So I like it pretty good. Are we doing the overall ratings right now, or is this?
Well, we're not. No, we'll go through and we'll break down each fight. I just wanted to just get a quick synopsis of what your guys' thoughts were as overall. We'll do the rating, the full H-bomb rating here in a little bit.
Okay.
Jeffrey, what are your thoughts?
I thought this card was pretty fucking good. It had a little bit of everything. You had some knockouts, you had some drama. There was a couple decisions. One decision in particular in there that I was like, oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck we're doing here.
Yeah.
And I think that was the Rocky Martinez and the Josh Parisian fight where I was like, what the fuck just happened? What?
We all were like that. We all were like, wait a minute, how? I'm pretty sure that's what Rocky Martinez was thinking too. So
yeah, and then there was a couple fighters I was really impressed with, to be completely honest, and then a couple letdowns. You know what I mean? So it had had everything. It was a good card.
Yeah,
it was a well-rounded card for sure.
For sure,
with finishes and decisions and all that stuff.
Yeah. So I guess we'll start. Yeah, we can start with the Josh Parisian fight with, Jeffrey, what you said. Obviously, the picks that we made were for the main card specifically, so we didn't really cover the preliminary. But Chaos Williams got a decision win. That was it looked like Chaos was really starting to slow down there as the fight, because he came out swinging hardcore right off the bat. And then after he couldn't put the guy away in the first minute and a half, 2 minutes, it is like his output started to slow down a lot.
Yeah.
He was also getting tagged as well. He got caught a couple times as well. So I mean, that takes a little bit out of your step.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it was a good fight overall, though. And Chaos ended up getting the decision win. Going up to strawweight, we had Kanako Murata versus Verna Jandiroba.
Fuck yeah.
And Verna Jandiroba ended up winning by it said KO TKO, but it wasn't. It should have been I guess a technical submission, because at the end of the first round, Jandiroba locked in a arm bar.
Yeah.
Ended up either dislocating or breaking her arm at the elbow, and she still, Murata went out there and still fought the whole second round. It wasn't until she was going back to her corner and the doctor saw her arm that was ballooned up and was like, yeah, no, this fight's over.
I mean, I think, to be honest, someone should have probably thrown in the towel for her in that second round. She's tougher than for her own good. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
she couldn't even lift her arm up. The announcers were saying it. They were saying that the head kicks there all day. And then right after that, she got head kicked. Like, she couldn't even defend it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like either the ref should have stopped it, seeing the injury, and like she couldn't even move her arm. You know what I mean? The ref should have stopped it and saved her, or someone should have thrown in a towel and pulled her out of there before. You know, I mean, I give her props because girl's a savage. She wanted to keep fighting and she was crying when the ref stopped it and everything. But
yeah,
it was bad to watch just because it shouldn't even have gone that long, probably.
I agree. Jeffrey, did you have any thoughts about that one?
Yeah, 100%, dude. Count me on
100%.
the Verna Jandaroba fucking train. That she pieced that lady up, dude.
Yeah.
That was crazy. And she looks like she hits fucking hard. Like, dude, I was impressed. I'm on board, dude. I am on board.
Well,
I think she looked like she improved from her last fight.
Yeah, well, I mean, she lost in her last one. She lost to Mackenzie Dern. So, but the fight before that, she fought Felice Herrig. And I was thinking, like, this girl's just a ground specialist. If she is standing, she won't stand a chance. But she completely,
dude, her striking looked really good. And Murata's not a dude. She's a fantastic striker, dude.
Yeah.
You know, so like for her to put her away like that, dude, she was beating the shit out of that lady.
Yeah, and her eye was all busted up.
Mm-hmm.
It was all
dude.
and stuff.
I'm down on fucking on Deuce.
So I will say this. This is the one thing that I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Yesterday, I get on Twitter and I see that Rob Schneider tagged Dana White in the UFC and goes, "I don't remember getting put on this fight card."
Yes, dude. I love me some Rob Schneider, dude.
Hey, boy.
Hey, boy. Tell your brother to get out of the Shark Tank.
And just a little background for that, guys. The memes going around on Twitter or whatever is that she looks a lot like Rob Schneider. So for those that are not informed, there you go.
And that's because she does look like Rob Schneider. I was like, holy shit.
So, yeah. So, that was a really good fight. Really good performance on the preliminaries. Next up was Alexa Kimura versus Nikolai. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name.
Was it like Spirkov or
no? That was Spivak.
Spivak. Yeah. Okay.
Niga Moreno. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to.
Nikolai, dude.
Yeah, we're just gonna go Nikolai. I honestly like these guys came out strong right off the bat, but I thought that Alexa Kimura did enough to win the fight. And he ended up losing by decision. And the only difference that I can really see here, there was one takedown, but in terms of total strikes, Alexa had outstruck him by almost 20 total strikes. He hit the significant strikes was 31 more. And the biggest difference was a takedown. So yeah.
I'm not super mad at that decision. Like,
no, it was just a fun fight.
Yeah, it could have gone either way, to be completely honest. So I'm not pissed off at that one like I was the Parisian one where homie just got outworked.
Yeah, it was clear that was just an absolute disgusting.
Yeah. I thought both of those fighters looked like that was a good matchup. They're both in the same class. They're right where they should be.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a good match.
I agree.
Yeah. Moving up to the main card. We'll go to our fight picks. This is where all three of us were in agreement that Matt Brown was just a step behind. He's getting up there. He, just turned 40. And you got a guy like Diego Lima, who's, he's still in terms of like his age. I mean, he's not that old. He's got to be 30? Yeah, he's 32.
the thing about this fight was with Diego Lima, it was like he's 17-9 now, but like
Yeah.
you could have pictured a scenario in your head where he would have done exactly what we're talking about Marlon Vera doing.
Yeah.
Right? Where like shit just clicks. Now he's really fucking good. And he goes on a run, you know. But hey, look, and we were right, like with everything, up until Matt Brown fucking knocked him out. Like, he was getting, he was getting beat up. So
we slept him.
Yeah, when we were throughout the fight, Trent and I were saying, like, dude, if he doesn't start doing something with those leg kicks, like if he doesn't check something or if he doesn't switch his stance, he's going to be in such bad shape. I'm wondering how his legs feel today because he got kicked into oblivion yesterday. Yeah. And Diego Lima was doing everything good up until he got caught. And it was just a straight right down the middle on the schnoz, dude.
See, that's some Matt Brown shit, though. You know, like that's why Matt Brown is 25-18 and still fighting in the UFC. Just
immortal, dude.
Because he does put on exciting fights.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when that was the thing, we go back to 5-6 years ago when he's fighting these top guys like Robbie Lawler and, all these other guys that he was fighting. It was fun to watch because there was just no telling what was going to happen. You didn't know if he was going to throw an elbow out of nowhere or a spinning elbow and, bust someone open. That was what was fun about Matt Brown fights was they were unpredictable. You just never knew. And I thought those days were over, but apparently not. So I will congratulations, Matt Brown. Happy Father's Day. I hope you have a good Father's Day. And I'm pretty sure he got knockout of the night too.
Yeah, he definitely proved us wrong. He looked good. I mean, he looked I wouldn't say he looked like the Matt Brown of old.
No,
but he's still got what it takes to compete, and I was impressed. That was a good knockout.
The end, he goes, "How's that for 40, bitch?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, this is that MMA math that Trenton's always talking about, right?
Yeah.
Just shit happens.
You never know. You can't add it up and figure it out,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, moving up to the next fight, we had Wellington Turman versus Bruno Silva. You guys both chose Turman, the younger fighter. Yeah. I was thinking Silva. He's been in big fights in another organization. He was a champion in another organization. These two actually had a grappling match a couple years back when obviously Turman was much younger, but and Silva ended up winning. It was 2-0. It doesn't really have anything to do with MMA, but they have experience with each other in terms of rolling, and it was relatively close. So after I saw that stat, I was like, oh crap, maybe this fight's going to be a lot closer than I thought. They came out. Turman was in a lot of positions where he could have finished, but Silva is no slouch on the ground either. And Silva, one of the things that we haven't seen in quite some time, and like just really good, strong ground and pound. And we saw that a couple times tonight, actually, or last night, in terms of the fight card, there was just so many good positions that fighters were in terms of ground and pound, where normally they would just try to pass guard or pass and then work a submission or just work into a better position to try to get a mount or whatever. But they're actually throwing shots in the guard, and it was actually nice to see because it's been a while. But Bruno Silva ended up getting ground and pound knockout. So you guys both had chose Turman to win that one.
Yeah, I thought the ground game would be the difference. Obviously not. But Turman was fucking 12 for 12 in total strikes. And 0 for 10 in takedowns.
Yeah.
Damn.
So that's not going to do you any fucking solid favors right there.
In terms of percentage, though, man, that's going to look good on his stats.
Yeah.
That'll really being 100% on your strikes.
I mean, Silva landed 75%. So
yeah. But significant strikes, Turman was 1 for 1. So that's 100%. If this was his first UFC fight, he'd be People would be, he's got 100% strike rating. What the fuck?
Yep.
I think I didn't really know much about Silva going into that because it was his debut, and I was also confused because I could have swore there was another guy with the
I
same
think
name.
me too.
Yeah,
There is another guy named Bruno
yeah,
Silva in the
and I
UFC.
didn't know if that was. I didn't know what the scenario was there. I didn't know if I was just confused, if I was, if it was maybe he got released and he was coming back and they called it his debut. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, and I didn't really know much about that guy. And I mean, he's got my attention now. That ground and pound was nasty and it was precise. I mean, he landed all those shots that he hit to finish him, and I mean, they were right on the button. Those left hands were nasty. So I give him props for that. I was impressed.
Yeah, it was like I was telling you guys yesterday when we were watching this, it was just nice to see ground and pound again, because that was so common in the past, and before everybody just wanted to stand and knock people out. Ground and pound was so, you look at guys like Mark Coleman, Randy Couture, obviously those are big guys, but there's so many guys that was like what they did. Ground and pound was their thing, and it's just not common anymore.
I just think everybody's guard game and jiu-jitsu and
so
everything
good.
is so good.
The
these
only
days.
person that
It's
can
hard,
do it really is Khabib.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's his thing.
And that's just because his ground game is leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else that they can't compete with them, So
as soon as he locks those legs in and your legs are stuck together like this,
you're in trouble.
And he traps you, your legs, you're screwed, dude.
Please give up.
His
I deserve this.
You know I deserve this.
Please give up now. I must do this.
This is number one bullshit.
I miss him already.
I do too, man.
So do I. Shit, he's not missing a meal though. I can tell you that. I don't know if you've seen him, but
he's big.
He's a big
talking
boy.
about
he's talking about
doing,
playing professional
soccer.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. All right. The next fight. And God, Jeffrey, I'm so glad that we went with our guts on this decision, dude. Like, Jeffrey and I both are like, I don't know. There's just something about this guy. We were under the impression that he was on a losing streak. He wasn't. He had actually won his past couple. So I'll apologize on my part for not doing enough research. But
same. I think that was what I was looking at too. So it was my bad as well.
So I mean, but it worked out because in terms of my pick, I was like, no, he's gonna bounce back. He's gonna get this one. And Trenton chose Julian Erosa because he had competed. Yeah, Juicy J. He had seen him compete on Contender Series or
Ultimate I think Fighter. I watched him on the Ultimate Fighter. I actually didn't really know. I know Jeffrey mentioned that he was on that he came back through the Contender Series, and I didn't see any of that. I just saw him through the Ultimate Fighter, I think, and thought maybe he was young enough to be just like we were talking about before. Maybe he's found his rhythm and everything, and he was going to perform really well, but I was wrong.
Yeah. But dude, Choi Sung-woo came out and right off the bat just established that he was going to win the fight. Yeah. He hit him with so many just perfectly timed, like the setup, his feints were really nice. And it just looked like Julian, as soon as he got hit with that first shot, he didn't know, like there was no telling what was going on in his mind. He was just,
those shots were fucking precise, dude.
Yeah, they're crisp.
And hard.
Yeah, they were fucking legit.
That dude's a firecracker.
Yeah, and Jeffrey was saying that, he was another reason why you picked him just based. I listened back to the podcast last night after the fights. It was that you were feeling like it was time for another Korean besides Korean Zombie to really like implement themselves and make a statement. And that was a hell of a pick. He dropped him with that left hand. It was like a left hand hook, and it was perfectly timed. There was just so many moments in the fight that I was just like, holy shit, dude. I don't think Erosa knows what's going on here, because as soon as he got hit with that first shot, it was just
his combos and his fucking his counters were just the shit. I was like, when he landed that left hook, I was like, it don't get much better than that. That's it right there. And he would, dude, that dude was fucking, he was popping.
He was big too.
Yeah, he was big. He was big for a featherweight.
Yeah.
But yeah, got him out in a minute and a half. Hell of a fight. I was
He impressed
excited.
me a lot. I think I hope Jeffrey's right with another Korean coming up, because he kind of got hype for me on it. You know what I mean? Like he got a fan out of me. That was an impressive fight. He looked damn good. He looked dangerous. I hope he can keep it up with higher caliber opponents and look that good, because if he does, they got problems.
Yeah, he'll be ranked 10, 11, something like that.
I don't think he'll. Well, they both were unranked, right?
Yeah, I think he'll be like.
10, I think he'll be. I think he'll be.
15.
I think he'll be like probably 14 or 15 after this.
Something like that. That's
He'll be in the rankings.
Yeah,
for sure.
Top 15 or something.
The next fight was Marlon Vera versus Davey Grant. This got the fight of the night, rightfully so.
Yeah.
What I said in last podcast was that I felt like this was going to be an all-out war, and it absolutely was. Davey Grant came out super strong in that first round, and dude, everything that he was doing it looked flawless. It looked like it was effortless. His kicks, his spinning kicks, his punches, the way that he was controlling the octagon, he just made Marlon uncomfortable. It was like he couldn't establish himself in that first round. Like he landed a couple good shots, but he wasn't really able to be the one that was dictating the pace. Davey Grant did that.
Yeah.
And then, over the next two rounds, it was a completely different story. First round, I think we're all in agreement was Davey Grant. Yeah. He absolutely won that round.
And then he surprised me with the power that he has too. I didn't expect him to have that much power. He looked those shots that he did do, like when he was spinning and everything, and his punches and everything, they were more powerful than I expected as well from him. I didn't think he was a very powerful striker, and he looked good.
Yeah. I mean, well, the thing is I knew he had power because you look at his last 2-3 fights, he's won with knockouts.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew he was a power puncher, but the kicks mixed with the punching, his kickboxing is really good.
Yeah.
And just Marlon Vera wanted, I think in those next two rounds, Marlon Vera was like, you know what, I'm not losing to this guy again. And he was the one who put the pressure on Davey, had some really good groundwork, which is what I was saying. Like if he goes to the ground, I think Marlon's just going to have the advantage there. And sure enough, he did. And in those positions, I mean, Marlon had multiple opportunities to put him away. I think at one point he locked in a rear naked choke, and I was like, oh, he's going out. And he couldn't. So props to Davey Grant on just a stellar performance. He showed that he can hang with these guys still, even if they're much younger. And I think the biggest thing is he's just been injured so much that he hasn't really gotten the opportunity to put together, three fights in a year or 4 fights in a year like some of these other guys are.
I was impressed by both, to be honest. I think both their stock went up.
Absolutely.
I think that, if Davey Grant can stay a little bit more consistent and get some more fights and within, a consistent time period and stay active, that he's going to be a problem for the division as well. I think he looked good. I just think that maybe the pace that he laid on in the first round, he couldn't keep up with for 3, and that Marlon Vera is that much better. He improved since the last time they fought and all this stuff. So yeah, both of them looked damn good, and congratulations to Marlon for getting that redemption.
Yeah. Jeffrey?
Yeah, no, I thought they both looked really good. I think the reason that I was choosing Marlon wasn't even fight wise. I just felt like he knows if he loses this is a big setback.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had to have, and you could see that after he got pounded that first round, that he did have that fucking drive, just to suck it up and get in those uncomfortable positions and stuff like that. I like Marlon Vera a lot, dude. And I like Davey Grant too. Davey Grant looked good, but Marlon Vera, he's not even just an amazing fighter, you know? I just like his style.
Yeah.
For sure.
I respect him because he's one of those guys that, like, I don't know if it's just a veteran thing or what it is, but they know that if they're being outclassed, that they got to switch something up and take risks to try to get back in the fight. And that's exactly what he did. He didn't stick to the same game plan. He changed it up immediately after that first round, and it started to pay off for him.
And that's what we were saying about Marlon too, right? Is like, I feel like it's just kind of clicked. Like, all right, you know, I have to do something different now. I got to take a chance in this area. And I feel like he did that.
And that's what makes these fighters stand out and make them better than what they are, is when they realize, hey, I'm down. I need to change it up and do something. And he did that in spades. So,
yeah, his performance on the ground in terms of when he was in top position was another one of those. It was nice to see guys doing ground and pound because he landed some really good elbows from top position. He worked, like, he passed. He did a lot when he had those moments of advantage where he was on top. He did a lot with it. It wasn't like guys where they get on top and they don't do shit. They just, they lay and pray. Shout out to the pod. Shout out to the pod.
And those standing elbows were gnarly too.
Yeah, right up the middle, just right on the inside, and that's what split him open
I think that's what started to change the tide of the fight.
In the second
From
round,
that moment on, it was a different fight.
And that's also why he couldn't finish him, dude, because homie was
bloody and Vaseline, blood and sweat everywhere. It's hard to choke somebody like that, but
All right. So one fight of the night. That was awesome performance. They did great. I was really happy. The co-main was Alexei Oleinik for Sergey Spivak. We all chose Alexei Oleinik just because, we're our old man bias of these older guys. I was really hoping that Alexei Oleinik was going to get the win. In all honesty, you look at the stats and you look at, we all watched the fight. I thought Alexei Oleinik, he was the one who put the pressure on. He's the one who was going forward. He was the one who got the only takedown. And the biggest difference in strikes was 14. There was I don't know.
I think the last round made it look really bad for Alexei.
Wasn't it a unanimous decision though?
I think it was.
Yeah.
That's judging in MMA, man. Like those rounds where
he goes to the back, like you can already, they don't like that shit in scoring, dude. Like that's why, like Damian Maia and all these people, like they had to learn how to strike, or they weren't gonna, unless they finished them, they weren't gonna do shit. No. So like, even though you might be the one aggressing by pulling guard and trying to set up a fucking submission, like those judges,
in their eyes, you're losing.
Yeah, they're not qualified, dude, to be judges half the time. So it's like,
they're boxing judges that are get pulled in by the Nevada State Athletic Commission.
So unless they see fucking strikes.
Yeah.
But I mean, Sergey didn't do shit neither. You know what I mean?
No. I'm not mad at the decision. He split Alexei open.
Yeah.
And he did maintain good top control, but at the same time, he didn't get a takedown. When he was on top, it was because Alexei pulled him on top, like he pulled guard, and he's one of the only guys that I'm like, I don't care. Go ahead and pull guard on this guy because you're probably going to regret it. But Sergey did.
There was a couple moments there where you seen some shit starting to sneak in. You're like, oh, here it comes, dude.
Well, at the end of the second round, Alexei locked in that submission, and I was thinking like, oh, okay. And he didn't want to let go at the end of the second round because it was probably like, dude, this is the only shot I've got.
And to be honest, the takedowns in that fight, it's not like they were beautiful double leg takedowns for the judges to see. I mean, he did the saggy diaper takedown, you know what I mean? Like he was just really over full diaper hanging from his back, pulling him down. And it's not beautiful. So how do you give points to something like that when it was just a sloppy, unorthodox takedown?
A takedown's a takedown.
It did look like a toddler taking down.
And wrestling 2 points is 2 points.
It's true. I'm just saying that like when judges don't know what they're looking at and they're just like, oh well, that was just whatever, you know,
That was
that's not.
just shit.
They're not
That was
giving them a
just
bunch.
shit.
Yeah,
That was
they're
just a
not giving a
shitty
bunch of
diaper
credit for
takedown.
that. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not mad at the decision on that or anything. I think, in my opinion, I thought Olenek was doing more of the pressure and
Yeah.
more of the attempts to finish the fight and stuff like that, even if
Yeah.
it was from his back or whatever. He was going for the submissions. He was the one closer to ending the fight, in my opinion. But when you it's not that they don't know what they're watching, but when you're judging it off of specific things that, you know, maybe that's
Yeah.
not what they're looking for, and that's okay. You know,
Yeah.
it is what it is. He should have done more to win that fight on,
Absolutely.
you know, and keep it
Yeah.
out of the hands anyways. So
They
there's
just got
that.
gassed, dude. They
Yeah.
got gassed.
They're big boys.
100%.
100%.
Absolutely, 100%. All right, and then the main event, you guys both went with Korean Zombie. Good picks. I've got my Zombie Deadpool here to commemorate Korean Zombie's performance. Really good fight for Korean Zombie.
Mhm.
And for Ige, I had through 2, I had it 1-1. After that, he completely pulled away. Korean Zombie pulled away. Trent, at one point, you said you might have even had it 5-0. But I had 4-1 after. I thought the second round Dan Ige won, but after that, Korean Zombie just pulled away.
There was, all right, so at the beginning or towards, all right, so like 3 rounds in, I was thinking this might be 3-0.
Mhm.
And then I think it was round 4 where Dan Ige started to look like he was doing really good. And then another takedown happened and it finishes with Korean Zombie with him, you know, and I'm like, well, shit, how are the judges going to look at that? I was like, it could be 4-1 or 3-1. It could be, I don't
4-0.
Yeah, it could be 4-0. So it's really hard to judge. But at that point, I could tell that Korean Zombie was winning because I think round 1 could have gone either way. That was like the toss-up round. Round 2 was Korean Zombie, I thought.
I thought Dan Ige won second round.
And then
I had round 1 for Korean Zombie. I had round 2 for Dan Ige.
Or maybe I had that mixed up. But
yeah,
there was one round that was like really close. And then it looked like Korean Zombie had pulled away. And then another round where Dan Ige looked like he was winning. And then Korean Zombie looked good at the end. And then it was confusing. So I thought, you know, hopefully I was like, Dan Ige needs a finish here in the 5th. And
Did
to
he try
his
to take
credit,
him down? Did he try to take him down though?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he tried to take.
Yeah.
I kept saying, I was
was
like, why the fuck are
landing
you
some
trying to take him
shots.
down? You need to finish this guy. Take him down. You're not going to submit him.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know. He just looked good, and he looked good on the ground. He threw some submission attempts in there. You know, they didn't land, but I mean, you know.
No, but he was super freaking close.
But they were there, you know, and they were attempts. 3 out of 5 takedowns. I mean, can't ask for much better than that, you know. And then he landed 60% of his strikes, and his striking was precise.
Yeah.
Again, you know, like just like with the last Korean fighter, their stance is different, man. It's just different. It's bouncy, you know, they're on their toes. Like, it's just different to fight. And if, like I said if you haven't fought one of them, it's not normal, you know, and it's hard to replicate in a training camp, their movement and shit like that. And he just looked good, man. Like, I'm glad to see him back. And Dan Ige is a tough motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
So for him to come out and dominate him like that I was impressed.
Yeah, when you look at the total strikes, like if you were to watch the fight, I really didn't think it was that close in terms of total strikes. Like there was only a 17 strike difference in terms of total strikes.
I thought it was pretty close. I thought Dan Ige was actually landing, like
he was landing harder shots.
Yeah, there was a couple shots that Korean Zombie landed where I was like, oh shit, that's why you got to be careful. Yeah. Because he fucking hits hard, and people forget that he hits that fucking hard. You know what I mean? And then Dan Ige would come back and fucking he rocked the Zombie a few times. You know what I mean?
Short little left uppercut, just that short, beautiful. Just boom. And I was like, wow. Yeah. Because that, I mean, but I think that's a big problem though, is, you know, for him, if you're not putting the guy away, because Korean Zombie, it's hard to finish that guy.
Yeah.
And
You got to shut his lights out.
yeah,
To
like
fucking
he has,
do it,
he
you
has to
know?
go out.
Yeah.
So, and Korean Zombie, he just threatened more. He was in more positions that threatened more finishes. Like, you know, he almost had him in a rear naked choke a couple times.
Well, almost
I-
half
I-
that fight ended up with like a body triangle, you know,
Yeah.
like at the end of that fight, like if you count up the minutes that he was in a body triangle, it adds up to almost
Right.
probably 5 fucking
Yeah,
minutes.
almost a whole round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he looked good, dude. That you can tell that camp was good for him.
Yeah.
Like that was a good camp for him. You know, his ground game was so much fucking better, dude. That with the quickness that he put those body triangles on, like those aren't easy to get, dude. But he's so lanky, you know, and
Mhm.
fucking he can just loop them up.
Where's the Korean Zombie doing his fucking jujitsu? Because like
He just
I-
got his
I
black
didn't-
belt yesterday too. He just
Yeah.
Oh,
he
really?
got his black belt last night.
'cause I was thinking in my head, I was like, oh, what kind of jujitsu schools were in fucking Korea, or like, you know, where was he doing?
Well,
this
he's fight.
shit?
He
'Cause his
did this
jujitsu
camp.
is really fucking good.
He did this fight camp in Arizona.
Yeah. But
Oh.
his jujitsu has been good for days. He was the one that did the fucking twister, you know, the first one
Yeah.
for the twister and shit, you know, like
Well,
his
he
ground game
has-
looks
he
amazing. I
has-
just want to know where the fuck he started that shit at and how it became so good.
even if it's not jujitsu, he's a black belt in like 3 or 4 different other martial arts.
Okay.
And I think, and some of those, like, I think he's a taekwondo, so obviously that's more standing.
Judo
I-
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's other stuff that I'm sure in Korea that they do that's not Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but it's
But I mean,
similar.
you can tell he's been working with somebody here in the
Yeah.
States because you're not a brown belt unless you're putting in some fucking work.
Mhm.
So, and then he just got his black belt. Dude, he looked fucking good. I just think his jujitsu got better.
Yeah.
Well, the
It
problem
got
is
better.
you look at his last fight, there's no way you're gonna out jiu-jitsu Brian Ortega. Like,
No.
sorry, T-City's just that good.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, T-City's been a freaking black belt for probably like since he was 15 or 16. That's how good he is and how good he has been.
We've seen
Stand up
this.
is
We've
nasty
seen
now
this.
too.
We've seen this come about with like in wrestling and stuff like that,
Mhm.
where you have a highly decorated wrestler, and he gets out wrestled by whoever, you know, a junior champion or something. You're like, oh, what the fuck just happened? Like that's
Well,
so I can see that happening in jiu-jitsu too.
Yeah.
yeah.
But Ortega is a bad motherfucker.
Yeah. I think for, I mean, I guess where do you guys see, because Dan Ige was, I think, 8th, Cheng Sung Jung, Korean Zombie was 4th.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's only, after the fight, Korean Zombie called out Max Holloway.
Love it.
And he said, I like the call out, but Max is going to be, well, he had to pull out of the fight with Yair
Mm-hmm.
for still undisclosed reasonings, like we had discussed last podcast. But I think Max sits out and gets his title shot.
I don't think he does.
I do.
I don't think Max is that type of fighter. I think he will take the fight.
Yep.
Well, I
he's-
think he's going to fight Yair regardless. But I think what he should do is, I think there's no reason why he should, like, look at who he's fought since he lost to Volkanovski. Did he only fight Kelvin Cater since?
I think
I thought he fought somebody else.
well, he moved up, and well, that was before. Was he
No, that
still
was
champ
against
or-
Dustin. No,
Yeah.
he was the
Was that a
featherweight
couple
champ at the
ago?
time.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I think it was just Calvin Cater, right?
It might have been just Calvin Cater. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but you look at the performance that he put on, and you look at how close his fight was with Volkanovski the last time. I guess both times. But I still am under the impression that Max won that second fight, and you look at what he did to Calvin Cater. It was an absolute annihilation.
Mm-hmm.
I think he said he wants to stay active and shit though too. You know, he wants to be one of the most active fighters, and if he can't get that fight, I mean, fighting the number 4, that's fun, dude. I think that'd be fireworks too. So,
And depending on how long Max Holloway is out, maybe you do the rematch with Yair and fucking Korean Zombie too. You
Yeah,
know,
that'd be fun. That'd be a
Yeah.
fun
Korean
one.
Zombie was winning that fight until he got KO'd. You know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
Hey,
and that's
can you guys give me a second? I gotta go to the restroom.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
Keep on
That-
doing your thing.
That was the thing for me that I in terms of Max and where he goes, that's the problem with being the number one contender, is the only place to go in terms of going up is to fight the champion. That's
Yeah.
the only thing to do, because
I know it means a lot to him too to be the champion, but like I feel at this point he already knows he's probably the GOAT, you know, and he
Yeah.
just wants to fucking throw more
on the
fights. Maybe,
featherweight division, yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
you know, like I don't know, man. I just think if he's offered that fight, he takes it.
Mhm.
That's assuming they're not in on Yair, you know.
Yeah. Well, I like Yair because he's exciting. He's just a different.
He's
Like,
unorthodox.
Yeah, he's so hard to do a training camp for. I guarantee you, it's
Yeah.
unlike any other guy. It'd be like trying to fight Wonder Boy, you know?
Yeah.
And oh gosh, I don't want Max to take like fighting Yair is a big risk, and then fighting Korean Zombie would be another big risk. And if you lose that, that's just 3 times, 4 times harder to get back to a title shot. And it's not like Max isn't young enough, because he's only 28
Yeah.
or 29, but it's still one of those things that you're taking all the risk and fighting back.
I think some fighters like that shit though, you know?
Yeah.
And that because look, and Max is a different type of guy too, you know, he streams on Twitch, he's a video gamer, so he likes an audience, he likes to be a fan favorite and shit like that. And you know, if you keep fighting and putting up fucking bangers, that endears yourself to the fucking fans, you know.
Mhm.
So it's like I think that's important to him as well at this point. I don't know, we'll see, man. Like I wouldn't be pissed off either way, dude. If he's like, you know what, fuck it, I just want to be active, I just want to fight. I'm down with that. And or if he says I want to sit back and I want to fight for the belt again, I'm cool with that too.
Yeah. I mean, there's no telling what's going to happen just with Max. So,
Depends what his injuries are, you know.
yeah. I'm going to look at the featherweight rankings to see who Danny Ige should fight next. Because
So the rankings.
he's already fought Calvin Kattar. He beat him. So,
Josh Emmett.
Okay.
Josh Emmett's number 6, right?
Yeah,
That'd be a fun one.
he hits pretty damn hard.
Yeah, but so does Dan Ige. He just has
Yeah.
to.
Oh, he's not even in the top 15 anymore, huh?
Moicano?
No, I was thinking of Little Heathen Stevens.
Yeah, right.
Didn't he already fight? Didn't he beat Little Heathens or no?
Yeah, he's already here. I'm pretty sure Danny Ige already beat Jeremy Stevens. How is it that Yair Rodriguez is only number 9? What? How is it that Zabit?
I have him.
You know what?
I have him number 3. and
Nobody will
I'm
fight
on
Zabit,
UFC.
dude.
I say that you have Danny Ige versus Zabit next.
Ooh.
Zabit could get up into the top 10, or he fights Giga Chikadze.
The problem is nobody wants to fight Zabit, dude. That dude's.
Yeah,
Wasn't
I
he
don't
just
wanna-
talking
I
about
want-
retiring because nobody will fucking fight him?
I don't want to fight Zabit either.
Yeah.
I'm 210, 215 pounds, and I don't want to fight Zabit.
Well, he's also your height.
I know.
Fucking guy.
All of his weight's in his hair.
He's so big for that weight class. It's insane. Like, I don't even know how the fuck he could be that tall.
I don't understand how Dan Ige is underneath Calvin Kattar.
I'm looking
Complicated
at the
put on a good
I'm looking at the
performance.
UFC rankings right now, and it goes Holloway, Ortega, Rodriguez, Sung Jung, Kattar, Emmett, Arnold, Ige, Barbosa.
Yeah. Edson Barboza, Ige, 9 and 10 or 9 and 8. That
Yeah.
and
not
Barboza.
He
mad-
already
I'm not mad at that.
fought Edson.
Yeah.
Did
He
he?
just fought him recently and he beat him.
Yep.
Oh, fuck.
I don't know, but you lost, so you gotta fucking.
Yeah, but they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that one. That's
I don't
not
think they
happening.
will either.
Arnold Allen?
He's top 10. That like I know Zabit's outside of that top 10, but Zabit's more of a dangerous opponent.
What about fucking like Mofzar, like Evlov? He's what?
The guy
He's
he
15 and 0 now.
Tebow.
Yeah, he's 15 and 0.
Never know. There's no telling, dude. The main one that obviously I was interested in was just Korean Zombie calling out Max. That's an interesting one.
I think
I'm
that's a
down
good
for
fight
it.
to make. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a good fight to make just because Korean Zombie's also already fought the other guys that are ahead of him, and he hasn't fought Max. So you might as well let that one go.
Yeah.
You know, in my
That's-
opinion. And you could always do. I mean, Brian Ortega's already fighting for the belt. So let's say Yair Rodriguez is number 3. I mean, he could.
Yeah, Yair's number
He-
3.
Yeah, Yair's number 3.
Oh, I was looking at an older rating or rankings
Yeah.
list then.
Yeah, it goes Max, Brian, Yair, Korean Zombie, Calvin, Josh Emmett, Arnold Allen, Dan Ige, Edson Barboza, and Giga is your top 10.
Shikadze.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bryce Mitchell's on his way up too. You know, he's number 12.
Dude, I'd love to see Bryce Mitchell get a top 5 opponent just to see how he would do. To watch him throw a twister up on Korean Zombie.
Well, him versus Dan Ige would be decent because he
Negative.
was number 8 and we got number 12. You know, so
Yeah.
like he just got a loss, and you could bring his Bryce Mitchell's ranking up. If
Bryce
he
Mitchell's
won.
still undefeated, isn't he?
So I think he is. There's 14-1. It says.
Oh, 14-1. Okay.
Yeah, but he might be undefeated in the UFC. I don't know.
Yeah. Every win by twister. Shit.
Yeah, his last loss was it doesn't even go back that far to show me on the stats here.
Huh.
Every fight he's won that I can see right now.
Oh, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh, he fought Tyler Diamond, huh?
Yeah, he fought Tyler Diamond in the I think it was the Ultimate Fighter
Ultimate
finale.
Fighter, yeah. All right. For overall rating of the fight card in terms of H bombs, what did you guys have?
So the last one on the pay-per-view, I gave it a 3, right?
You have 3,
I like,
and then Jeffrey gave it like a 3.4.
Yeah, I actually was more entertained with this card and the finishes and everything that was involved with it. I'm gonna have to go with like a high 3, like a 3.8 H bombs. I think it's not quite a 4. It's something's missing without like a big crowd to bring the excitement too. You know,
I agree.
So I think it was like a 3.8. If there was a crowd and we were hearing everything going crazy and the crowd going wild for Korean Zombie and all that stuff, I think it might have been a 4. But for me, it's a 3.8 H bombs, baby.
Jeffrey?
Yeah, dude, same exact thing. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, in order to pass the 4s for me, it's got to be exciting as fuck.
Electric,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah, you got to have like multiple championship fucking, at the helm and shit like that. I think, but this was a good fight, man. For a fucking fight night, I'm down.
Yeah.
I'll go 3.9 because you're just not gonna get a 4.
Yeah, I'm up there with you guys. I'm not going to go full 4, but it's higher than the pay-per-view card. And I can tell you this main event was way more exciting than the Vittori and Adesanya main event.
It was just more of an exciting fight, period.
Yeah, and for me, the biggest thing is, again, I think the crowd is a big factor because I think a lot of those guys really feed off the energy from the crowd. You know, that's where we kind of were missing out all last year with COVID and stuff. I'm about to sneeze. Hold up.
Bless you.
God bless. Domine Patre. But this is the way it's going to be with the fight night cards for the rest of the year. Dana White said that it just makes sense in terms of the money and the revenue that they lost by not being able to do live gates last year. It's more cost efficient for them to do the fight nights in the Apex. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the Apex was the primary place that they do fight nights from here on out, because
Yeah.
it's less of a headache to have to, you know, pick up and move. My dog's like staring at a fucking bug, but it looks like she's staring at a demon in the corner or something.
I think it's also more cost effective for them to hold it on their own. You know, they're at the thing. They're saving money at the Apex. You know.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to get up and move all this
Mhm.
shit and then set all the shit up. Everything's already set up. The production is, everything's already there for you. So, you know, maybe they can add an addition on and put more seating and stuff in there in the future. But for now, it's serving its purpose well. And obviously it sucks for the people watching at home, because you're not, that's the reason why I've loved these pay-per-views the last couple, is because it's been so nice to hear
The crowd's
people
electric
losing their
again.
fucking minds when
Yeah.
something exciting happens, like when Usman starts his Masvidal and the crowd goes ape shit.
I just like the chants, dude. I miss
Yeah.
the chants, you know. Woo!
Everybody hates
You
that, but
hear?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that shit too.
You know, can we please, if we're not going to have big crowds and stuff like that, can we please get Korean Zombie on a damn pay-per-view instead of a fight night? You know,
Yeah.
like he brings in enough fans. I think
If he fights
he's
Max,
exciting
it will.
enough. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
exciting enough. I think he deserves a pay-per-view. I mean, maybe not headline a pay-per-view,
Right.
but he deserves to be on the co-main or something like that. Man,
For sure.
man's a beast.
Yeah. So yeah, we're all in agreement. Not quite a 4, but it's right on the verge of
Mhm.
4 H bombs. Next up, just came out yesterday. It's in the talks for August 14th. Derrick Brunson versus Darren Till. I'm super
with that.
stoked for that fight. Derrick Brunson's been ever since he dyed his hair blonde, dude. He's just been on a tear. So
He's got that Melvin Gillard strategy going now.
And I mean, you look at who he's fought more recently. He fought Edmund Shabazian and beat him. He fought Kevin Holland and beat him. So I think those are his 2 most recent performances, and he's looked really good. His wrestling, like he's gotten back to his wrestling roots, and it's helped a lot.
Which is a problem for Darren Till if he can't keep him off of him.
I think Darren Till is a lot better at 185 in terms of the wrestling, and whereas 170 you would think he has because he's larger, but I think just depleting himself so much, he's just so weak he was so weak at 170, and you got to see some power from him there, but you get to see it a lot more here in 185.
He should be at 185. That dude's big.
Yeah, he can almost be a 205er.
Yeah,
that's how big he is. He just towers above everybody.
But I think it's a good fight. I'm all on board for it. Like I said, I think Darren Till needs to keep him off of him in his back off the cage to win this fight, or Brunson will just put the pressure on and stay close. And when he could draw out a decision, also depending on if this is going to be a main event or not. So I mean that takes in
my guess is it would probably be a fight night. I don't think it'd be pay-per-view, even though it would be nice to see Darren Till on a pay-per-view again, because the crowd would go absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, still though, like it depends. Still, if it's, I mean, it could be the main event of a fight night. That's a good main event for a fight night. But if it's not, and it's a co-main event for a pay-per-view, or or the third fight on a pay-per-view or something like that, then we're talking a whole nother thing, because Derrick Brunson could keep him against that cage for 3 rounds and just that's it. Draw out a decision. And I hope it's a 5-rounder, and then maybe he can't keep that pace for 5 rounds, and Darren Till can step up, because I'm a Till fan. Sorry to be biased already, but
yeah, so am I. I am too.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Jeffrey?
Not much. I think this is one of those fights that Till's gonna have to end it. Like Brunson's a bad motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
And if it's 5 rounds, good luck dealing with that for 5 rounds. If it's 3, that might be even worse.
Yeah.
For you. So like, I think you're gonna have to end it. If you're fucking Darren Till, you can end it at any moment. But I think in order to win this fight, I'll have to end it.
Okay. Let me see here. I think Darren Till. I think he will end up performing better against Derrick Brunson because he knows the only way he's like. I think he's going to be the champion. I honestly think Darren Till will be the champion, like within the next 2 or 3 years.
So young still.
Yeah, I think
he's
he
got.
will be the champion.
I don't think he said his prime yet.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah, so just be on the lookout for that. See how he performs coming off of collarbone surgery because he broke his collarbone because he was supposed to fight Marvin Vettori. And it would have been awesome if Darren Till would have won that fight, and then he ends up possibly fighting Israel, you know?
How does Darren Till break his collarbone when homeboy that swallowed a clothes hanger didn't the other day? You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, they
His
do say
collarbones.
once you break your collarbone though, it's usually stronger than it was before.
This is like calcium deposits and shit, right? Or something like it just
Yeah,
grows
something
back
like that.
stronger.
Yeah, I don't really know, but they say that it's usually stronger. So
Dude, I can't imagine that. That seems like it'd be so painful because I could push on my collarbone and it hurts.
Yeah.
You know, like I can't imagine snapping that thing.
All right. Next was, and this is just a quick touch on. I don't know. I haven't looked at the fight statistics. I was trying to find them, but they don't have anything posted for the Rory MacDonald versus Gleison Tibau fight. It was super controversial. Most people had Rory winning by unanimous decision, 30-27. I don't know what happened, but Gleison Tibau got the nod, 29-28 on 2 judges' scorecards. And
that was a fucking robbery, dude.
yeah,
Like,
and I mean, Rory MacDonald was not happy. As soon as they
he
said
shouldn't be. That's crazy.
Gleison Tibau's, as soon as referee so-and-so scored 29-28, Gleison or Tebow, and Rory was like, what the fuck? Like, he looked around and he was like, what? And then as soon as they announced Gleison Tibau is like, you won the goddamn world title, because that's probably the closest thing to world title level he'll ever smell. But
I wouldn't be happy flaunting that win because you got
lucky. Yeah, I didn't watch the fight. I didn't watch the fight highlights or anything. I just saw that he had lost, and I was like, what the fuck? He's like, are you serious? So yeah, I don't have anything to say on in terms of that other than it sucks that judging is that bad right now in terms of
it's every
MMA.
card.
I know, and it sucks. I mean, nowadays if you don't get a finish, then but it's like Dana always says, don't leave it in the judges. Dana White always says that, don't leave it up to the judges. So,
well, there's kind of a silver lining here for me. It's nice to know that it's not just the UFC that's judging sucks.
no, Bellator's bad too, dude. Yeah, Bellator's bad too.
I mean, that sucks. It sucks that was a setback for Rory in that manner. You know,
I'm gonna use the restroom, boys. I'll be right back.
All right, and I don't want to make accusations here, but I want to know.
Hey, Trenton, real quick, dude. Another thing, the next topic, just because I don't know if you guys have a lot to say on this or not. Okay. The next topic is Rashad coming out of retirement to box.
Okay,
that won't take long.
Yeah. I know. All
right. As I was saying, like, I don't want to make accusations here, but Gleison Tibau was, in my eyes, always a little sus on the performance enhancers. Even in the UFC, the dude was a huge 155er, and I don't know how he ever made that weight. He is stacked, and he looked meaty as fuck at 170, dude. The dude is huge. I want to know the name of his doctor, and I want to know if he takes insurance. Because I want to get a hold of that man.
He's always been fucking little beefy, dude.
Yeah, that dude is jacked out of his mind. He's so big.
Yeah. As far as like this dude coming out of retirement to fight, like we already talked about it off air or whatever, but like, dude, you're not fighting Jake Paul. You're not fighting Logan Paul. Like, you're not that pool, you know? You're not in that type, you're not in that realm, dude. And I'm over this shit. I'm over every one of these MMA dudes trying to fucking fight these fucking TikTokers, dude. I hate it. I hate it so much. I just hate it.
So this is what upsets me about this is dude was a champion, you know, for a while in the UFC, 205.
Hit hard as fuck.
He's a legend of the sport.
Yep.
Dude's great. He's retired, all this stuff. He never looked the same after losing that belt and everything. And it makes me sad that he wants to come out of retirement to box kids, because that just makes me think he's
Paycheck.
hurting for fucking money. And that means that someone wasn't taking care of this man when he had to, when they should have, you know, because he was on I don't know if he's still doing it or not, but he was on like UFC,
commentary desks.
Commentary desks and shit like that. I don't know if he still is. I actually haven't seen him in a minute, so maybe he's not anymore. But that just concerns me that this dude wants to come out of retirement, fuck his brain up even more for a paycheck when he's been retired for too long. You know what I mean? Like, it sucks. Like, I don't want to see these legends come out of retirement because they want a paycheck. You know what I mean? And that's got to be what it is. Like, what would be your reasoning for wanting to box these dudes? Nobody talked shit to Rashad Evans. Nobody called him out. You know what I mean? Like, he's putting his name in the hat because he wants that money, and I don't like that.
I also understand that being a 40-year-old, so I'm just a fucking nobody, but I'm 40 and I still have that competitive bug in me for shit, you know? Like, I always want to go out and compete,
even if it's bowling.
Even if it's bowling. So I can see these fighters who that's all they grew up with their entire life, and now you're 40 years old and you're like, you know what, man, dude, all these motherfuckers making money, I'll beat the shit out of Jake Paul, you know, or Logan Paul. And it's like, well, that's not how it works, man. It's got people want to have to see it.
Go do jujitsu, man. Go do something that you're not going to get fucking scrambled eggs for, you know? Like,
that's what I don't get. I don't understand why these old fighters don't go do jujitsu tournaments or something like that. Like,
because they're not going to
pay.
Fucking jiu-jitsu.
They're not going to pay as good.
Well, they would if they started getting these fucking people in here. You know what I mean? Like,
for me,
big names.
Yeah, for me, this is what I don't like, and I agree with you, Trenton. Jeffrey, I didn't hear your point, but I think you're on the right track, Trenton, with something in reference to money.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, the guy lost to freaking Dan Kelly. Like, that's how you know that is a problem. Dan Kelly is not a good UFC fighter.
Smiling Sam Alvey, right?
Did he lose to Sam Alvey?
I think he did. I think he dropped down to 185 and lost to fucking Smiling Sam Alvey too.
Oh, well, Sam Alvey fights at 205. So.
Well, I think it was before he moved up.
Oh.
I think I don't know. I could be confusing, but either way, I'm pretty sure they fought before Rashad Evans retired for good.
Well, either way, it just sucks because I don't want to see, like, he's way past his prime. But he said he wants to fight Roy Jones Jr. or Logan Paul. Dude, they'll both slaughter you.
I think you could fight Logan Paul. I don't want to see it.
Sorry, I don't.
I don't want to see it at all. I think you could.
Yeah. I'm not going to watch that because I don't want to watch a guy that I really like. Like, I didn't really like him. I just, like, I was cheering for Rampage when they fought, but I was cheering for Rashad when he fought John Jones. I can tell you that. So I
felt bad for that one.
So did I, because John Jones just absolutely obliterated him.
Well, but I felt bad for Rashad because it was like the freshman came in and took everything you fucking had. You was your star.
Yeah.
You know, it was like the fucking MVP freshman came out here and took all your shit from you. And I was like, fuck, dude, I feel bad for that one. Like, that's gotta hurt the fucking ego. And then he was never the fucking same after that either. So
no.
And also Roy Jones, with all due respect to Roy Jones, like, I don't want to fucking watch you box neither, homie. Like, you got me the first time, dude. You're not fucking getting me.
That's because he fought Mike Tyson. That's because he fought Mike Tyson.
And I will never not watch Mike Tyson. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, you know, but like Roy Jones, fucking Shame on you, dude. Trying to fool me twice, man.
Well, Logan Paul said that he thinks he would stand a good chance against Mike Tyson too. So
Yeah, and
just to throw that little.
Did
That
they really let
upsets
them
me.
throw hands? Oh, God.
that upsets me, but I think Tyson today would still starch that man.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, me too.
Um,
That's that size. Like,
yeah.
you could fucking fight Floyd. Mike Tyson knock you fucking out, man.
I love it.
I would watch that probably.
I don't want to, but I would.
Yeah. Yeah, I really hope that Rashad really thinks this through, or I hope that, like, I would never wish an injury on somebody, but
No.
at the same time, I kind of hope that, like, something is a setback for him and he realizes, like, oh yeah, maybe this isn't a good idea. Maybe I just need to be done.
Just sprain your ankle a little bit.
Yeah.
We're not asking like a big injury. Just sprain your
Yeah.
ankle and be like, you know what? Fuck that.
Not
I don't
for-
need
yeah.
this. I don't need this.
I don't really have anything else. It was just something that got brought up yesterday, and I thought it would be a good talking point.
Yeah, I don't want to see it. I love Rashad. I think he's a legend of the sport. I think he deserves
Same.
better.
So do I.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think get him back on the fucking desk. You know, do something, whatever. Pay that man. Give him a raise. Do something. Keep him out of that fucking ring, dude. No, nobody wants to see that. I don't think.
No.
For the next, just sticking with boxing, last night Anderson Silva fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And I didn't watch the fight. I just was paying attention to updated scoring on just on the internet.
Mhm.
And these are like, boxing websites and stuff. And I'm like seeing like 10-9 Anderson, 10-9 Anderson. I'm like, holy hell. And it was an 8-round fight. And Anderson Silva, he won by split decision, but based on what I was seeing on the live updates and stuff, it could have been a unanimous decision or a majority.
Yeah, I didn't watch the fight. I honestly barely knew it was happening. I think I heard about it from the Joe Rogan GSP podcast that they did together.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was GSP, and Joe Rogan mentioned it or something. And I think I could have swore it was GSP, but he was confused. He's like, "Oh, this isn't good. Like, is he he's supposed to fight?" Like, he thought it was the older one or whatever. It's Julio Cesar Chavez, not Junior.
Senior.
Yeah. And then when they were like Junior, he was like, "Oh, that's not good. Like, this is going to be bad. Like, this shouldn't happen." And then to hear that he won,
yeah,
like, that's impressive.
Anderson's 46, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
And I mean, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., I think, is 37 or 38.
And he's not that inactive either, right?
No.
Yeah, so.
But I think that was his last fight. I think that was Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.'s last fight.
Well, I mean, it should be if you lost to Anderson Silva, the guy that doesn't box.
Oh, he boxed before. He boxed professionally.
Well, wasn't it kickboxing?
No.
No, he was like 1-1 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but come on. That was fucking 20 years ago.
Yeah, but it's still, it's still something nonetheless. Yeah. At least you didn't have to worry about him front kicking somebody in the face.
Yeah. He looked pretty good, dude, from the highlights I seen. He was taunting him and shit, doing the fucking thing, like bring it in.
Yeah, he's like, let's go right here. Bring it to me right here.
He didn't learn his fucking lesson.
No.
No.
The reason why I was interested in this fight is because Chris Weidman, he started his own podcast, and he had Anderson on the podcast, and the majority of the time he just talked to Anderson about like their leg breaks.
Yeah.
And that was like, it was like a 45-minute episode, and like probably 30 minutes of it they just talked about like, oh, well, what was your thought process? How did you do? What did you do for recovery and all this other stuff? And then towards the end of it, he's like, so you're getting ready to do this boxing match. When is like, and then he was like, oh yeah, it's, on Saturday. And I was like, oh shit. Like, I thought it was way farther out. So I knew that it was, but I just was out and about doing other stuff. There was a festival going on here in Fairbanks, so I was at that last night.
Believe it or
But-
not, we have lives outside of the podcast.
Yeah, who would have thought? Dude, if we didn't have lives outside the podcast, I'd be putting out 3 or 4 a day.
Yeah,
I'm living in a box right now, as you can
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, I know. Progressively, your freaking room has gone from like flags and guns and all reloading equipment, and now it's just a fucking box with a white room with a box in it.
Yep. That's
Yeah. In terms of that, I hope Anderson Silva really. I really don't want Anderson Silva to like. I mean, he didn't get hurt. He didn't get knocked out. He didn't get knocked down or anything. But I really hope if he continues to do this, that it's like once a year type thing. I don't want him to do this frequently.
I'd rather see him do jujitsu.
Yeah,
you know, to be honest.
yeah.
It's not like he's not a fucking nasty black belt. You know what I mean? Like, just I don't like seeing these guys take any more head trauma than they have to at an old age like this. Even though he did good or whatever, it's still just one of those things where like it's unnecessary damage. You guys don't have to take it. You guys are legends. Make money doing something that's less damaging, you know?
Yeah. For the overall card, so based on our overall picks, because I mean, really the last thing that we're gonna discuss is just next week's. It's just a quick look at the main event for next week's card, and we can later on in the week we can do our picks, and this will be the last one that we do. There's going to be, I mean, we could do another podcast in between, but there really isn't going to be another fight card after this one until the McGregor and Poirier fight. So overall, in terms of our fight picks for the last 2 fight cards, Jeffrey and I are both 10-6. We went 3-3 this most recent fight card. Trenton's 5-11. He went 2-4.
Yeah.
I was trying to get through that without laughing, but I couldn't.
Trying to get out of this rut here, fellas. I'm gonna focus on this next fight card and
choose fucking studying, boy.
Instead of choosing with my heart, I'm gonna pick with my brain on these ones.
Yeah, he's like, at least it's not like Jeffrey. Yeah, his nickname's your boy, so I'm gonna go with your boy.
Hey, I gave a little bit more reasoning, dude. That was just,
I know.
That was just a bonus.
I'm just giving you shit, dude. So next fight card is a fight night. Ciryl Gane versus Alexander Volkov, and also we'll be seeing Ovince and Preux make his heavyweight debut against Tanner Boser. So
I thought he fought at heavyweight once before this. Didn't he fight Rothwell or no?
No, his last fight was against Jamal Hill. Oh, he did fight. Oh shit, no, he did fight Ben Rothwell. He did. But
yeah, I remember him moving up to heavyweight before, yeah.
Okay. So never mind, it's not his debut.
Mm-hmm.
Good call.
Mm-hmm.
But he did go back down.
Okay.
And he lost to Jamal Hill, and he lost to Jamal Hill, but he beat Alonzo Minifield.
Okay.
But I'm honestly, I think Ovince St. Preux is so knockout prone now. Like he gets, I think going up to heavyweight is a mistake. I don't think his frame is built for heavyweight.
What I'm hoping is that the extra weight that he puts on helps him absorb those shots, but I just don't know if it's too late.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, Jeffrey, and I think we talked about it last time. Some of these guys, they wait too long to move up and the damage is already done, and it's just not a good thing, you know?
Yeah. And then Ciryl Gane and Alexander Volkov. Ciryl Gane is coming off him and I don't know why it's so frequent in the heavyweight division. Like everybody's got knockout power in the heavyweight, so I understand that. But there's so many good fights that should be good, like Ciryl Gane and Jairzinho Rosenstrike. Their last fight, like fucking boring. Derek Lewis versus Francis Ngannou the first time, boring. Like I get it, you're being cautious because everybody can knock everybody out in that division. But my God, man, like I hope it's not another one. Volkov had a great performance against Overeem, his last outing.
Volkov is rarely in a boring fight. The dude's like,
I know
he's a high pace heavyweight, you know. he
Yeah.
puts out a lot of
A lot of
output.
strikes.
Yeah, a lot of strikes and everything. Whether they're the most powerful strikes you've ever seen, probably not. But they're high volume. So I don't think this fight will be super boring unless it's because Gane's trying to wrestle fuck him, basically. Lots of grappling and trying to keep him because he's getting outstruck. But I don't imagine this one being a boring fight. I don't think.
I hope so.
What are your thoughts, Jeffrey? Or do you have?
Yes, no, just same thing, man. I don't have too much. What Trenton said, I think it should be an exciting fight just because he's an exciting fighter in that division. So
Even when he loses, like when he lost to Derrick Brunson, if Derrick Brunson didn't get that, that last shot in and just, TKO'd him, then he was winning that fight easily for almost the full fight, except for the last 30 seconds.
Derek Lewis
was losing that fight almost.
Yeah, you said
the
Brunson. Sorry.
Oh, I meant to see
I knew
Derrick
what you
Lewis.
meant.
My bad.
I was just making sure.
Yeah, thanks for the correction. My bad.
I thought I was on. Wait, he fought Brunson already? What the fuck?
I meant to say,
yeah.
It's because I looked at my board and I was reading Derrick Brunson on my board.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're good.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see what they do. I don't think Ciryl Gane can have a more boring performance than his last one. So anything is up from here, I guess. Because
he looked good against Dos Santos.
Junior.
Junior Dos Santos. He looked good.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. That's for sure. I think that actually concludes the podcast, guys. I don't really have anything.
I'm excited for the Andre Philly fight as well.
That's your guy.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
Just to bring it up, we don't have to go over the whole card. That's just another one that I was excited about.
Yeah, well, I go back to work after Tuesday, so we'll probably have to do a later podcast.
Okay.
On either Thursday or Friday.
Sounds good.
Just because I have to work. But other than that, guys, thanks again for another good podcast. Episode 4. We've got 4 episodes out. If you haven't,
baby.
If you haven't
Keeping it consistent.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to our other ones, make sure to go check those out. If you're watching us on YouTube, please make sure to like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel. If you guys are listening to us on podcast or any other type of podcast platform, whether it's all the other ones that I listed before, please make sure to give it a listen, share it with your friends, and then check out our YouTube as well. Do you guys have anything to add in conclusion?
Nope. I'm good.
Right. Thanks for the diehard people that are listening already. Thank you guys.
Yeah. And happy Father's Day again to everybody. And you guys have a good rest of your weekend.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Later.
Talk to you guys later.